Hello and welcome back to Cooking Club, the Independent Chef. I'm Simone, a program facilitator with FFRN. So today, the dish that we're going to be making is in the top 5 most favorite foods in North America. Can you guess what it is? If you guessed pizza, you're right. So in the USA, 350 slices are eaten every second. That is a lot of pizza. And throughout the world, in 1 year, about 5 billion pizzas are sold. Again, people just love their pizza. So the word pizza was first documented in the year 997 in Italy, which is where it's believed that it was first initially created. So pizza's been around for a really long time. So with our pizza, you kind of got some basic parts. So you've got your crust, some sauce, and toppings. So we're gonna start with making a homemade dough today. And with pizza, you can change the flavors to be whatever you like. Those toppings are absolutely endless. I must say, I think my favorite pizza is a traditional Hawaiian, but with some jalapeno peppers on there for a little bit of heat. It's great. You should try it. All right, so before we ever get started in the kitchen, we're gonna make sure that we're wearing an apron. With flour, you don't want to be covered in flour. It's better on the apron than on your clothes. We're going to make sure that our hair is tied back. If you have long hair, don't have long sleeves. And we're going to wash our hands for 20 seconds. Here we go. All right, now that our hands are all clean, we can get started with our dough. So we're going to make our own, but you don't have to. If you want to, you can buy naan bread, bagels, pita bread, or even just pre-made crust to make your own. However, it is cheaper to do your own, as our recipe costs us, let's see, about maybe $1 with all of our ingredients, and a pre-made crust is anywhere from $3 and up. So one of the starting ingredients in our dough is yeast. So yeast is a living microorganism. It's found naturally on plants, flowers, in our digestive systems. And basically the role of the yeast is it's going to take the sugar and convert it into carbon dioxide and make bubbles, which causes our dough to rise. So in things like cinnamon buns, or rolls, bread, yeast causes that to happen. But to make sure that our yeast is still working and that it's still alive, we need to proof it. So what we do is we have 1 cup of warm water, as that's what our recipe calls for, and we've got 1 tablespoon of sugar. So I'm going to add the sugar into that water. And then we need 1 tablespoon of yeast. So we're going to add it in there. We can kind of stir it up, push it down. And then you need to let it sit for about 5 minutes to make sure that it's active. And to know that it's active, it's going to look something like this. So it's going to start foaming, and it's going to start kind of raising up and increasing in size. So this is how we know that our yeast is good. So we're going to pour our yeast into our bowl with that water. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And we're going to just mix that up. Excellent. So I've pre-measured out some flour, so I've got 2 cups of flour here that I'm going to add into my yeast and oil mixture. And we're going to stir that up as well. So we're going to keep stirring until we start to kind of get a dough forming. And sometimes with things like this, the flour is a bit of an estimate, so you might end up needing more. You might end up even needing just a little bit less. So our dough is pretty crumbly looking here. All right, it's somewhat coming together. We're gonna take it off the spoon. And then you got to get your hands a little bit dirty. I'm gonna take off my ring so it doesn't get covered in dough. I'm gonna use my hands just to make it actually form a really nice dough. Oh, excellent, that's beautiful. All right, so here's our dough. Now, we're gonna take it. You need a little bit of flour. Sprinkle that over your workspace. And we're gonna knead the dough. So basically kneading just means you're gonna press into it, kind of roll it in half, squish down, just kind of play with the dough for a little bit. This helps to activate the gluten in the flour and makes it kind of nice and strong and hold together. Plus it makes sure that everything is really well blended. All right. So this is also where you're going to kind of check the consistency. If it's too sticky, just take a little bit more flour, sprinkle it on there, work it in. All right, if you can see, my hands are not sticking to the dough, so that shows that it's not too sticky. There's a few spots that are a little bit. That's okay. So I'm going to sprinkle my work surface with a little bit more flour because we're going to start to roll it out and we don't want it to get stuck. So sprinkle some on the table and a little bit on top. And we're going to roll out our pizza dough. We've got a lovely rolling pin here. Honestly, if you don't have one, it's a good thing to invest in, as there's nothing else that quite works the same or does a good job. So I'd suggest you can get them for fairly cheap. Get yourself a rolling pin. So we're gonna roll out our pizza dough. We're gonna try to make it circular. So to do that, just roll and then shift your dough around a little bit. That way you're gonna kind of roll evenly and it's gonna stay in a fairly circular pattern. If you don't have a circular pizza pan, you can use a rectangular one. Then obviously you're gonna wanna roll your dough to be a rectangle. So we're gonna keep rolling. I'm trying to make it about the same size as our pizza pan here. An even thickness. The way you can do that, run your hand over the dough and it should feel about the same all the way around. All right, I think we're basically there. That's good enough. So I have here a pre-greased pizza pan. So we just took some butter and stuck it on there. And a helpful hint is actually to take some flour and sprinkle that over, move it around, and that way it won't stick. So we've also preheated our oven up to 450 degrees. So it's ready to go for us. We're gonna take our pizza. I wish I was like some super cool, pizza flipper, but I do not have that skill. So we're just gonna throw it on our pan here. Press it down. Oh, that looks great. All right, and to make sure we don't get huge bubbles in our pizza crust, take a fork and stab it in there. That way, air can get through your pizza crust and you won't have big, massive bubbles forming. All right, so now that it's ready to go, we're gonna pop it into our preheated oven on the lower rack, and we're gonna let it bake for about 5 minutes. This is just to pre-bake the crust, so it gets a head start instead of just adding the sauce directly on here. That way you'll actually get a crispy crust and not some soggy mess. Yeah. That was seconds, not minutes. Set it for 5 minutes. There we go. I don't know how to use a microwave. Excellent. And basically, that's how you use or make a pizza dough. And see, as you can see, this yeast is rising up really nicely too. And if you want to learn how to make a sauce, then stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Cooking Club, the Independent Chef. I'm Simone. So we previously made some pizza dough and now we're going to make some homemade pizza sauce. But again, before we ever get started in the kitchen, make sure your hair's back, no long sleeves, and we're going to wash our hands. There we go. So we have our lovely dough back here. It's nice and ready to be topped with sauce. So same with the dough, as I mentioned before, it's cheaper to make your own. Same goes for the sauce. So this sauce that I'm making today costs about $2.30 for everything. You can buy pre-made stuff, but you're going to be looking at least $4 for the same amount. Of course, if you want convenience, go for it, but if you want to save money, this is the way to go. All right, so to make our sauce, we have some tomato paste. So we're going to add our tomato paste into our bowl, and to make it easy, we're just going to use the whole can. This might make more sauce than you need for just one pizza, but that's okay, because you can either put it in the freezer and use it within a week, or pop it in the fridge for a week, or pop it in the freezer and it'll keep for at least 6 months. All right, it's about as clean as I can make it. And then we've got tomato sauce. So our paste is pretty thick. The sauce, way more runny. Oh boy. All right. Excellent. All right, I'm even just gonna use the same spoon, mix it up. Try to get that paste all nicely blended in there. Excellent, so now we're gonna add some flavoring and seasoning in there. So we're gonna add 1 to 2 tablespoons of oregano. This is kind of to taste, so whatever your preferences are. Oh, smells Italian. All right. Woo, there's 1 and 2. Then we're going to add some Italian seasoning. You can add about 2 tablespoons of that as well. There we go. Then we're going to add some garlic powder. And we need only about half a teaspoon of that. And then we need about a half a teaspoon of onion powder. And then we're going to do a half a tablespoon of garlic salt. I like garlic. Let's add a teeny bit more. This is something that is kind of to your own taste. It doesn't need to be totally precise. All right, and some black pepper. About a 1/4 teaspoon of that. Don't need too much, especially if you don't really like pepper. And then lastly, just for a hint of sweetness, I've got 1 teaspoon of sugar. All right, so now you just mix it all in. Till it's nice and uniform throughout. It smells really good. Excellent. Whoa, beautiful pizza sauce. So yeah, this amount of sauce is definitely going to cover a few pizzas. Excellent. So that's it. We're ready to go. We can add it straight onto our crust. I'm going to take that spoon, dump some on there. You can start spreading it around. So try not to make your sauce too thick, or else it's going to make your crust go a little bit soggy. So sometimes less is better when it comes to pizza sauce. So as you can see, we're only using a few spoonfuls, so we're going to have lots of sauce left over. All right. Beautiful. So now when it comes to toppings for your pizza, to make it simple today, we just have some cheese and some cut up red peppers because we had leftovers from another recipe. So that's what we're going to use as our toppings today. You can kind of choose whatever you like. Just keep in mind that pre-cut meats are typically going to cost more than uncut ones because you're paying for them to do the work for you. So a very simple way to kind of check cost comparison is there will always be on the price tag a little number that tells you how much it costs per 100 grams. So it's a really easy way to compare prices because even if 2 items weigh different amounts, then you'll at least be able to know, oh, this one costs $1.50 for 100 grams. This one is $1.80. All right, now I can go for the cheaper one if that's what I want. Also, another great way to save some money is to use the Flip app. It's a great app you can put on your phone, you can check flyers, and you can even use that to kind of do a cost comparison, and you can bring it to the grocery store and actually show it to the clerk, and they will price match items for you. So that way you don't have to go to a bunch of different grocery stores to get the best price. And I use it all the time, and honestly, it's great. So we've got just some cheese and peppers, like I said before. So we bought some block cheese. So I've grated some already. I'm gonna grate a little bit. Basically on your grater, you've got some different ways that you can. This will make slices. This is the one you'll use most often. And the kind of pokey ones are more meant for hard cheeses. So we're just gonna quickly grate up some cheese. Be careful not to get your fingers in there. No one really wants your skin with their cheese. All right. Oh, there it is. So now we've got a whole ton of cheese. So a hint that I have for you, or a little tip for your pizza, to make your toppings stick better, put a small layer of cheese on your pizza first before you do anything else. So we'll sprinkle some lovely cheese on there. Excellent. Can't wait to eat this. All right, and red peppers are probably my favorite. So let's put some red peppers on there. So as I said in the video when we were making our dough, your toppings are endless. You can even change the sauce, make it a cream sauce, pesto sauce, and pizza can just become a variety of different things, and it can have a different flavor of pizza all month if you want it. And usually with pizza, kind of the most expensive thing is going to be your toppings. So if you want it to stay cheap, then just buy cheaper toppings. Cheese is typically a little bit more expensive, but even if we don't use all of this, we can pop it in a bag and stick it in the freezer. This type of cheese freezes really well. Take it out, use it later when you need to. All right, we're gonna finish it off with a lovely layer of cheese. I don't know about you, but I love cheese, so I'm definitely gonna use all of it. Excellent. Get all that cheese goodness on there. I'm even gonna just add these bigger chunks of cheese, because why not? All right, so our pizza is ready to go. Stick it in the oven. Let's see, how long do we need to put it in there for? 15 to 20 minutes. So we're gonna watch, make sure that cheese is all melted and the crust starts to get nice and brown. So our oven is at 450. We're gonna put it in the middle rack. And let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. All right, and our pizza's now ready. So let's take it out of the oven. Oh, that looks beautiful. So there we go, our own homemade cheese and pepper pizza. Yum, yum. If you liked our videos, please subscribe to our channel and check out all of the other great videos that we have. and keep your eyes peeled for when we post new ones.